was able to turn the program around. This year's goal is to continue with the consistent level of play.
Kids found out that it's a lot more fun to win, and I think they learned last year what it takes to do that, and they're willing to pay that price, so they're going to work awful hard to win and keep winning.
The Braves lack some size up front, but their biggest asset is overall team speed.
We're not real big with our older kids, but the kids that we have in line, the seniors and juniors, are very quick, and we will try to feature our team speed.
Tonight at 11, we'll take a look at the Academy.
And it would come from David Olson. He takes the pitch, goes on the sweep outside, carries it into the end zone, 12-0 Braves. The big story defensively was stopping Chris Snyder of Seneca. He had a nice day, but wasn't able to get in the end zone. Here you'll see one of his carries where he hurdles over the top, but the Braves did shut him down a couple key times, and Phil Glass, the head coach, was happy getting that first win.
Offense still has a way to go yet. We're still not executing the way we can, but our defense is playing awful good football right now, and as long as they keep doing that, we may win a few more.
And a big day in high school football, and all the ECL games will be played tonight as well at 8 o'clock, and we'll have that story tonight. Today for the lone ECL matchup of the day, and the Huskies recorded the shutout as they beat the Braves 13-0. The Huskies led after 2 quarters 7-0, and the Braves weren't about to give up. Chad Vaught had plenty of pressure from the Iroquois front line, and on this play he was dropped for the sack by Phil Glass. But Harbor Creek kept plugging away. Running back Donnie Bernanowitz had 27 carries for more than 180 yards unofficially. Midway through the 4th quarter on 4th and 18, Chad Vaught dropped the throw, and after stepping up in the pocket and avoiding pressure, he hit Sean Siggins over the middle for the 6. The extra point was missed, but the Huskies still had control of the game.
You want to loosen up your secondary, Coach? Coach, you want to loosen your secondary a little bit.
Late in the game, Harbor Creek put the final nail in the coffin when Curtis Christopher recovered a fumble to seal the victory. The final score, Harbor Creek 13, Iroquois 0.
Our offensive line did a great job. Greg Hackenberg, he's a second-team All-County member. Him and Chris Curtis on the left side of the line did a hell of a job.
They fought us tooth and nail, and we hurt ourselves with some foolish penalties. We got close several times and got penalties that knocked us back, and we weren't able to recover, but in the end, we did what we had to do.
After last night,
back invaded the home of the Brave. 4th down, and the home team punts. John Gorley back to receive for the visiting Bobcats. Should let this one go, but does it. Mike Gord pounces on it quick as a Bobcat, and Braves couldn't convert, but did hold off Seneca for win number 1, 12-0 the final. At Cochranton, Mercyhurst Prep playing its first
looking for win number 1 on the season. He gets help from tailback Chris Oswalt, who carries it into the end zone, 6-0. They have the lead, but defense was the name in this game, and Phil Glass, the son of the head coach, was the story. Picks up this fumble and rambles all the way down inside the 10-yard line. That sets up the second score and the final score of the day for Iroquois as David Olson carries it 10 yards around the end, 12-0. That's the final. Tonight at the stadium, each scheduled afternoon game was in Iroquois, where they took on Seneca. Phil Glass and his Braves looking for win number 1 on the season. First quarter, Chris Oswalt, 1-yard touchdown run, 6-0 in favor of the Braves. Great Brave defense on the day. Lance Bergert is dropped by Paul Penberthy as he gets the sack. The fans certainly happy. Look at that excitement in the stands, huh? A little bit later, here he goes down. He loses the ball, but Seneca still manages to recover. But this is the kind of defensive play that Phil Glass got out of his team. And the big key for them was stopping Chris Snyder of Seneca, who does the nice hurdle over the line, gets a nice gain, but Iroquois did a nice job of keeping him out of the end zone. Then Phil Glass, the son of the head coach, picks up this fumble, gets it all the way inside the 10, ran out of gas, just couldn't poke it into the end zone. But that sets up the second touchdown of the day, and it goes from David Olson, takes it around the end, and it proved to be the only other touchdown. 12-0, the final score. The clock would tick away, and Iroquois would get their first win of the season. Here's Phil Glass.
Offense still has a way to go yet. We're still not executing the way we can, but our defense is playing awful good football right now, and as long as they keep doing that, we may win a few more.
You have to consider this league is really parity this year.
Yep.
So you're by no means out of the running.
Oh, heck no. We should get nothing but better as we go along. We've got a lot of young kids playing for us, and I really think as they develop and game by game, we should keep getting better.
And one thing.
This was a good one, tied at 6. McLean's J.J. Rennick went over from the 1 to put McLean on top with a minute to go. And Iroquois driving. Bill Frick of General McLean made the interception to seal the win as McLean remains undefeated with a 12-6 victory. Our Game of the Week feature takes us to McDowell. And
Lancers struck first with General McLean up 6-0. In the second quarter, the Braves' Paul Penberthy took the ball around the end for the touchdown and the 6 points, leaving the game tied at 6. In the second half, the rain came, but the Lancers managed to brave the elements and Iroquois to score on a J.J. Rennick 1-yard touchdown run, 12-6 in favor of the Lancers. Late in the game, the Braves kept the drive alive when the Lancers band got a 15-yard penalty for making too much noise. But McLean's defense held off the drive and won it 12-6.
You know, that's official's interpretation of what goes on in a game. You know, he called it, and that's, you know, we got to live with that. I don't like it. We have to live with it.
In Waterford, the Huskies
land and find out what happened. They were matched up with Iroquois, and Iroquois played some people tough this year. The Lancers played tough defense early in this one to kind of set the tone. Watch Tim Merritt drop back to pass. But it's J.J. Rennick who has the interception in his hands but just can't hold on. But on the very next play, Merritt's lateral dropped in the backfield on this slippery night. There's a scramble for it, and it is Rennick. Perhaps redeeming himself for dropping the interception, comes up with the fumble recovery to give the Lancers the football. The Lancers then start their drive. Rennick again, ripping off a big gain, as he has done throughout this season, as General McLean has shown a great balanced attack offensively. And then C.J. Barbaro, the other combination in that backfield, runs over Brave defenders for another nice 5-yard gain. The drive stalled, but Iroquois coughed it up again. This game is now tied at 6-6. The Lancers, yes, they have the ball early in the fourth quarter on the turnover, tied at 6. Now quarterback Mike Mariani goes to work. He hits Jim McAndrew. Nice catch, keeps his feet, takes it down. He almost fumbled it there, but he got it back, and General McLean kept it alive. 3 plays later, Rennick dives it in, and General McLean wins their 4th in a row.
McLean Lancers and the Iroquois Braves. We go to some of the action. Mike Mariani, this guy's turning into a great find for Coach Kenny Walker. To Jim McAndrew. McAndrew does the rest. 68-yard touchdown reception, and McLean has the early 6-0 lead over the Iroquois Braves. But Iroquois would stay in this one. Watch Paul Penberthy on the sweep around student body right for Penberthy. Penberthy gets in the end zone, a 6-yard touchdown run, and we are tied at 6 apiece in this ECL contest. Second half now. Mariani will hook up with his running back, J.J. Rennick. You see the score, 6-6 still at this point. Neither team able to convert on the extra point attempts. You'll see Rennick, he'll get it down to the 1-yard line. Just can't get in the end zone. McLean will wait one more play. And Rennick does get it in the end zone to take a 12-6 lead.
Keep in mind, Brian, by this point, the rain is coming down. You know, they did a nice job on the stadium out there in Edinburgh, but they slacked off. They could have got us a dome.
Or a little turf or a little something.
Yeah.
There's Mariani. He's sacked by Paul Penberthy in this one. Iroquois trying to stay in the game, and the defense doing the job for the Braves. Then here comes Iroquois on the offensive. Tim Merritt, the nice lob pass to Dave Brady, and Iroquois is on the move.
And keep in mind, too, that Tim Merritt suffered a knee injury and is out for the rest of the season. So Iroquois Braves have really got to come up with something, an unfortunate incident, but now the sophomore's got to be the quarterback.
There you get a look at the band. An unusual play in this one is the band gets a 15-yard penalty. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on. Kenny Walker's here to explain that. Here, Merritt's picked off by Billy Frick. Frick does the job. This really iced the game for General McLean as they moved to 4-0. We talked to Billy Frick and we talked to Coach Kenny Walker after the football game, and both of them were very excited, especially Frick explaining the strike force defense.
Billy, what's this whole deal about strike force? Tell me about it.
That's the name of our defense.
Means we stick people.
Yeah.
The band part.
Strike
a blow!
Everybody's a part of it. Nowhere to run. Nowhere to hide.
Yeah. We're trying to play one game at a time. I thought we were maybe a little bit overconfident coming into this game, maybe looking ahead. I hope not.
It's Iroquois up 14 when Scott Schnars took it over from 2 yards away. And as we go to the scoreboard, Iroquois over Northwestern 21-12. LaBeouf defeated Seneca 26.
Mentioned lots to cover tonight. The Prep Ramblers on the road, the #3 team in the state in Quad A at Du Bois. They rolled to a 46-6 victory. Tim Colicchio, 2 touchdowns, 191 yards as the Ramblers are 4-0. Corey Beavers also undefeated along with Harbor Creek in the ECL. They rambled to a 40-0 victory at Girard tonight. Elsewhere, Alan Chorney, 2 touchdowns as Fairview took care of Northeast 21-6. Fort LaBeouf tripping Seneca 26-7. Elsewhere, Iroquois outlasting Northwestern 21-12. Sharon doubling Meadville. Kind of a surprise tonight, 24-12 there.
Eaton's goes to the Huskies on their home turf, 9-0 now. Harbor Creek at 5-0. And Quarry with an impressive win, 40-0 at Girard tonight. So the Beavers also 5-0, and down the road, as we mentioned, Harbor Creek and Quarry will meet, and Quarry and General McLean also have a game going. So things could change in a hurry as the weeks progress in the ECL. Fairview got 2 touchdowns from Al Chorney. Mike Buscema, a touchdown.
Could not find the luck of the Irish today. Tight game because of the wind and great defensive play. First, the fake field goal for Northeast as Phil Glass's Braves already have a 7-0 lead. They fail to capitalize, but here you see the ball comes loose. And the Pickers have a chance to recover it near the goal line, but Iroquois falls on it, and it was Troy Stenger with the recovery, and that saves a big play for the Pickers. Look at that man, Jack Beswick, head coach of the Fairview Tigers. That's the kind of day it was, sunbathing day, but the wind was a problem. Here you see the punt for the Iroquois Braves. No punt yardage, no net yardage rather, as it comes all the way back. He is disgusted, but hey, everybody had that problem. It was tough kicking into that 25-mile-per-hour wind. Homecoming this afternoon out in Lawrence Park. Stacy Bartlett crowned the queen for the Iroquois Braves, and it was certainly a great day here late in the game. The Pickers have a chance to do something. The deep pass is picked off by Eric Sittinger to save the game. Final score 7-0. Again, let's look at the games for tonight. Games, Temple beaten by Penn State 48-10, in Illinois over Ohio State 31-20. Don't go away. High school football and more after this. Some of the highlights, not an offensive showcase, but the wind was very strong today, 25 miles per hour at times. Here you see Northeast on an attempted field goal, actually the fake, unable to score. Good defense by Phil Glass's Iroquois Braves here. Good defense by the Pickers, caused the ball to come loose. They trap Iroquois deep in their own end of the field, and Scott Schnars will come back. Actually, he's the one that pitched the ball back there. And there you see this man, Jack Beswick. He doesn't take it easy too much, but enjoying the sun today at the Iroquois Northeast game. And there you see the wind literally pick the ball up and bring it back to the 12-yard line. A punt of about 2 yards, if that, for this man, Dominic Price. He had a bad day because of the wind. But a nice note this afternoon, homecoming out at Iroquois.
Boy, the Iroquois Braves just a little bit too much. They win this one. The final score 7-0.
They get some big defense at the end. Ironically, Stacy Bartlett, homecoming queen, and the former quarterback who's out injured, Tim Merritt, is the homecoming king. So there you go. On a good note. That's going to do it for this show. We understand